Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, listening, subscribing, and being able to view and watch everything here so far. I will be making sure that there's exclusives on Patreon and Spotify alike, along with making sure we got some free content. Why not, okay? So I'm just very grateful. I thank you guys so much, and today I wanted to talk on another rapper, because I've already talked about Lil' Kim and Missy and Cardi and Megan. I've yet to talk about Doja. I've yet to talk about Glorilla. I've yet to talk about a few female artists or just rap artists as a whole. So I will be talking about a lot more music as we go around, okay? There'll be more music we talk about, more topics too. But today I wanted to talk about Remy Ma. Her first album, There's Something About Remy, based on a true story. We will be talking about it. Before I talk about this album, I want to let y'all know that's my Gemini twin, okay? We already made a pact years ago. I said, this is Gemini energy. I'm loving it. I'm here for it. I love you. And she loves me. I told her I love her publicly, okay? And I meant that. And that was years ago. She know. But, yes, so we are going to talk about this album right now. So, There's Something About Remy, based on a true story, is the debut studio album by Remy Ma. It was released on February 7th, 2006 by SRC Records, Universal Records, and Terror Squad Entertainment. The album's release date served as the 6th anniversary of her mentor Big Pun's death. The title and cover art coincides with the 1998 film There's Something About Mary. The album sold over 35,000 copies in its first week, and as of 2007, it has sold over 160,000 copies. So, we will talk about why there wasn't as many sales in this peak time. Just give me a moment. So yes. The background. While growing up with her sister, Kristen Devereaux, I think? Devereaux? I'm not sure how to say the last name. In Castle Hill projects in the Bronx, New York, Remy Ma often saw the consequences and terrors of her family's drug abuse with her own eyes. She was forced to take care of her little brothers and sisters at her young age. At her young age, and retreated from her home issues by writing poetry. And I like to write poetry too, who don't? Okay. Her reputation quickly grew around the Bronx, and word eventually got to the late MC Big Pun of her and her work. After one meeting in a freestyle session, Big Pun became her mentor. Ma made her first appearances in the music industry on Big Pun's album Yeah Baby under the name Remy Martin, on the tracks such as Miss Martin and You Was Wrong. So the thing is, Remy Ma been out since the 90s. Whether people want to accept it or not, in the midst of Kim, Foxy, and Eve, and Left Eye, and even Queen Latifah had a few more tracks that she was releasing in the 90s. Like, Remy Ma was right there. Okay? So I don't want no one not looking at her as a vet. She is a veteran in rap. She prefers, and I feel as though she rightfully is, the godmother of rap, okay? And, she's been around for a long time, 25 years, more than, okay? Upon the death of Big Pun, rapper Fat Joe signed Smith to his imprint label under SRC and Universal, and made her a member of Terror Squad. Following the success of Lean Back, which garnered Remy Ma a Grammy nomination, Ma released 3 singles from her debut album, There's Something About Remy. The songs Whatever, that was a great one. Conceited and Feel So Good. The album moved 40,000 units in its opening week and 160,000 units within the first year. The album received good reviews from XXL magazine, with XL to Rolling Stone and Vibe magazine, despite its low sales. So it got good reviews. People were liking it. They just did not have enough of the album, and I think that was that. And that's what it is. That be really what it is. When you have not to say a machine, but yes, when you have album, units that need to be sold in a way where people can be able to know it's there. It got to be there. And I think that that's what was, unfortunately lacking when it came to this album, was that she didn't have enough promotion. There wasn't enough copies to give. And of course, with it being 2006, people are streaming, and not streaming, but downloading the music. So it was not easy. Remy was frustrated at the way the album was being promoted by Universal, and how the album wasn't releasing the right singles. And how the label wasn't releasing the right singles. So, mind you, we know a lot of people now that are under Universal, and we're emerging to be on Universal, and you see how well they're doing. So, to be honest with you, like I've said, whether it's Sony, Universal, whatever label, a lot of times people do come to a point where they say, I want to be independent, because you want to be able to have that focus for your craft and your music always on. You don't even want no one feeling like, all right, well, we're just going to deter from this right now and do this because this got to go. No. You want to make sure everything's going, everything's working, everything can be able to be everywhere, and that's real. And I feel that. With the solo album's lackluster debut, Smith decided to end her relationship with Fat Joe and the Terror Squad, breaking her deal with SRC Universal in the process. Despite lack of promotion from the album, from the label, There's Something About Remy, based on a true story, peaked at number 33 on Billboard 200, number 33 on Billboard Top Albums chart, number 2 on the Top Rap Albums chart, and number 7 on Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums. So, despite the public not being able to have enough of the album, the rap chart and the R&B hip hop charts, everybody was feeling Remy. Like, okay, we here, okay? And so that to me says a lot. So when she does release her next album, it will hit, because the only problem here was bad promotion and not enough units. And that be the problem. That be what people don't understand, where it's just like, and I've said this in previous videos, where it's just, you can chart a certain way, but maybe sometimes there isn't enough units. Maybe there's not enough promotion. Maybe the way that the timing is for this particular project may be right, but the way that it's being carried out may not be. So I just want people to understand that it don't just be with rap, it be with pop, it be with R&B, it be with rock, it be all over. So just know when I dissect different albums and artists, that it does happen that way. But yes, the album's lead single, called Whatever, was released on August 2nd, 2005. The song peaked at number 1 on Billboard Bubbling Under R&B Hip Hop Songs chart, number 18 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs, and number 79 on the Top R&B Songs. In December 2006, the music video was added to her official YouTube channel. The album's second single, called Conceited, was released on December 13, 2005. The song peaked at number 7 on Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Song Recurrence chart, number 17 on the Hot Rap Tracks, number 90 on the Billboard Hot 100. So it did chart. Conceited charted, okay? And number 71 on Billboard Radio Songs chart. Number 24 on Billboard R&B Hip Hop Airplay chart. Number 4 on Billboard Bubbling Under R&B Hip Hop Songs, and number 17 on Billboard Rap Airplay chart. The music video premiered on January 7, 2006 on VH1. So Conceited came out literally right before the album was about to drop. So everything was leading up to where it could, but at the same time, promotion, and it just was a big deal. The album's third single, Feel So Good, was released on April 25th, 2006. So this came out after the album dropped. The song featured a guest appearance from American singer-songwriter Neo. The song peaked at number 1 on Billboard Bubbling Under Hot 100, number 20 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs, number 11 on Billboard Hot Rap Songs, number 11 on Billboard Rap Airplay chart, and number 2 on Billboard R&B Hip Hop Recurrence chart with no promotion. There was no promotion for this song. It played on the radio, and it literally was charting. So that's why I feel like there wasn't enough promotion for her, and it's giving on purpose. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say allegedly. It's just giving on purpose. But anyway, the visual was scheduled to film in Dominican Republic, but never resumed due to Remy completely shutting down all disagreements and dehumanizing staff with brutal verbal confrontations that ultimately led to her to cut ties, ending all business deals with both record labels. So she was supposed to go to the DR, film this video, and she said, it's kind of hard. I mean, Gemini sense. It's kind of hard for me to film a video that's not being promoted. It's kind of hard for me to enjoy an album release or to film anything or do any type of music promotion for this album when it's not fully being promoted. Like I'm actually speaking like I'm her. Like it's not rocket science, it's real shit. Like how am I gonna be able to coincide with an album that I wanted to be, you know, a really great debut that's not being treated that way? And it was just showing, but it came out. And like I've said with a couple of artists in their albums, at some point it's like, because the gesture of putting it out was there, you're solidified. So anything now and what you do later, it will stem back and will push further for what you can do, you know, and I think that's important. So it's just good that she released something, because some people, they get shelved. They get shelved to a point where it's like, all right, well, we don't feel like it's just good enough to really put you out there. And it's just like, ooh, like, wait a minute. You know, and it don't even just, and like I said, it don't just be rap. There'll be times that even pop singers have gone to different record labels and they just didn't see it for them, and it took them to kind of just come out with something else, and then all of a sudden someone said, no, we doing this, and then boom, they just legend all of a sudden. And it's just like, well, wait a minute, y'all didn't see it for them years ago. Now all of a sudden they're just everything. You know, it happens. But let's get into the track list. So track 1 is Pun's Words. Track 2 is She's Gone. Track 3, Lights, Camera, Action. Track 4 is Tight featuring Fat Joe. Track 5 is Whatever. Track 6 is Conceited Messages Skit featuring Rock Rada. Track 7, Conceited, There's Something About Remy. Track 8, Feels So Good featuring Neo. Track 9 is I'm. So I'm, you know, what I've been able to look at the lyrics for I'm, she said she was queen of rap. A few people have said they've been the queen of rap. To be honest with you, they want to say that Missy is the queen of hip hop, which she may be because of the fact of album sales. You know, she has the most as far as all across the board album sales. She has the most, and I think Lauren is after, and then there's Kim. So singles wise, I you know, I believe they say Nicki is the queen for that. But as far as just as a whole, like who's the queen of rap, it's still something to just be able to kind of dissect and just kind of say to themselves, well, say to yourself, like, I don't want to depict one person, because they all have contributed. Every single one has contributed. Like I believe Remy has said that and has shown that, even with bringing Cardi out and Young M.A. out with years later after this, and in the midst of course, her being incarcerated for some time. So it's just, I feel like every rapper that is female that has contributed to rap is a queen. When you just go and just be like, oh no, she's the queen because she does this and da. It doesn't make it any better for the men. It doesn't make it any better for anyone that's in a different genre, because ultimately it's like, can it be really proven after another few years or so when someone really does well? Like, you know, there's all these different people. You can't just dissect and say, oh, this is the one. Everybody did something. Everybody can be king and queen, okay? They all are kings and queens to me. That's how I feel about it. I don't think when this is the best way I'm gonna say this. When they said that Michael Jackson is the king of pop, He is the king of pop. He's the king of pop because Thriller did extremely well. Extremely well. They could not deny his artistry and the way he was able to give us a full cohesive album with 9 songs. Okay, just 9. Okay, and you know there's still the debate. There's still the debate of who's the king of R&B, and of course people want to murmur Kelly, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say that Bobby can't be, or I can't say that Chris Brown isn't, standing next to Usher in some ways. It's just, I just don't think that there should be just complete labels on people completely when there's so much more to give and there's so much more to reflect on. You know what I mean? And I think everybody still got a lot more time to be showing some things. That's how I feel. There's more music to make. There's people that have made music up into their 70s and 80s. There's still more music to make. So, like I said, as far as with the track list though, there's track 10, Thug Love, featuring Big Pun. Track 11, Secret Location. Track 12, In the Street, Skit featuring Rock Rada. Track 13, Bilingual featuring Ivy Queen. Track 14 is Conscience Skit featuring Rock Rada and Wise G. Track 15, Guilty. Track 16, Crazy. Track 17, What's Going On featuring Keisha Cole. So Keisha Cole and her was able to collaborate on this album as well. Track 18 is Still. iTunes bonus track 19, My Life. Japanese bonus track, Can't Nobody. And then track 20, Lights, Camera, Action remix featuring Kriva. But that's pretty much the whole track list. As far as charting, it did chart for a little while, and of course, unfortunately, soon after this release of the album and her being able to cut ties with Fat Joe, there was a dispute between her and a friend that she may have had. They, of course, are not friends, but there was a dispute on that, and someone did get hurt, and she had to do some time. And she is out now. She released a mixtape. Of course, that was about 10 years ago. As of next month, I'm Around was when she released it, and she came out, yes, in August of 2014. And since then, she's been doing well. I think what it is just people have still tried to box her in a way. Like, that not everybody needs to be, and I don't think anyone needs to be boxed in any kind of way. Like, okay, her voice is deeper than most people as far as that rap. Okay, that there's a way that she's very much aggressive when it comes to her rapping that, it almost comes off diabolical. But you know what? She's Remy, and I love her for that. And I think that's what it is. Like, I don't know why people don't like different. People will accept it, but they don't always like it. And I think that's the problem. I'm unbiased and will always be, and I will say that when you feel like people gotta be a way for you to listen or to enjoy them, that's because you're not internalizing things all around, like with an open mind. You don't have to like Remy. You don't have to like Kim. You don't have to like a lot of rappers. But I just feel as though if you love music, you'll listen to what they have to say, and you'll be able to say to yourself, you know what, I like this. And I think that's the problem. I don't think that people take the time to really take in someone's artistry or someone's pureness after a while. They just always assume, oh, you know what, why should I? Or they didn't do enough anyway. It's like, what do you mean they didn't do enough? They're here. I don't see you out there doing something. A lot of times people be having that type of tone and don't even have a full page. They be behind a blank page, or they be, following behind other followers that feel as though they'll have their back, and it's like, it's catty, it's weird, it's stupid. I don't like when people do that. On any spectrum, it don't matter where it is. I don't like when people do that. And Remy has always been one to see how people are. She's not just the only one, but she's been able to see how people were to her at a time that now it's like, okay, that made sense. And I think in all genres, I think a lot of artists have been able to kind of see that over time too, where it's just like, I could have collaborated with you, or I could have been doing certain things with you that, you know, I would have thought we could have did, and it just didn't happen. And it's on both ends. Like, there was a time, in this time, her and Kim Warner's close, and now they're like sisters. Okay? And then there's the opposite, where it's just like, okay, you know, I may have met Nikki. I may have met, you know, I've not even met Foxy, but I may have known of her, but it didn't go the way it could have been. And I'm only speaking on those names, and I'm only saying these things because as someone being as unbiased as I am, you don't want to have this perception ever where you're feeling like, okay, I'm going to take this side more than this side. I'm not saying Remy's innocent. And I'm not saying the people that was, you know, going through anything with her are innocent. Everybody has a story. All I know is what you do with it. What can you do with it, and what have you done with it is what I know. And that's honestly what I wanted to just be able to pin out with this video and this episode, was just be able to show you guys that she is a legend and she's come a long way. And had she had the opportunities that other people have been able to have, maybe she would have been able to be more appreciated, instead of people feeling like she was just someone that just wanted to shoot somebody. And that wasn't the case. You know, there's more devastating stories that are out there, and I just feel as though when people are so easy to ridicule and make people out to being things that they're not, it entertains people. It makes them feel like, all right, this is a way I can sleep at night. And it's weird. It's just so weird. Like, this woman is just, she don't bother nobody. And she's made live IGs and you know, she's been on different shows and movies and has done a lot in the last 10 years or so since she's been home. So it's just, I give my 10s. I'm always gonna give 10s. And again, I just know that just from everything that we've just talked about, like I said, if she had better promotion and there were more units to sell, and that they were believing in her more, that, you know, maybe things would have been a bit different. But she's definitely independent, owns all her masters, and anything that she releases, she gets full dollar, just like Megan. Okay, just like Kim. You know, there'll be a few more female rappers down the line that decide to say, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna be independent, because their name is what's gonna get them together. Their name is what pays them, okay? The brand. So I want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll be back with more.